Athletic Trainer Month, the significance of it. Dr. Piper is going to be talking all about it. Your Pratt Pack coming into Odyssey tonight, Kdka. Where else would I rather be than with my friends at AHN and, of course, in conjunction with Highmark Healthcare Company. Medical Frontiers coming up, so I want him to introduce himself. She can introduce herself, and then we'll get started. Go ahead, tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Kdka. I manage orthopedic services, athletic training at Allegheny Health Network.
And
Hi, I'm Lisa LaMolinaire. I'm one of the regional managers of the outpatient therapy services at the Allegheny Health Network.
listen, because I've used those trainers and I've used those physical therapists, and I understand AHN and Highmark and what they've meant to your Pratt Pack, but I think you need to know why this month is so significant. Tell us.
So this is National Athletic Training Month, and it's a celebration of athletic trainers and wanting for people to be more aware of what we do.
Yeah, and we've been doing it for the last 8 months between football and basketball here at Odyssey on Kdka, courtesy of my good friend Dr. Mayo and everyone in the orthopedics division, sports medicine, and of course under that Highmark name as well. And these trainers, and I've been around them covering sports and being a fan of sports, they do such an incredible job, do they not?
They really do. We're so lucky to be able to work close with Craig's team and the physical therapy department. We have over 26 locations. With all Craig's schools, we collaborate constantly. So we're very blessed to be able to have that hybrid model.
Look, Doc Snell and I and others, Dr. Phillips, we've all talked about this stuff, but I want you to talk about the common injuries that most of these athletes and weekend warriors and people like me seem to suffer. Go ahead.
Sure. So actually, this is the first day of high school sports. So we have a lot of lacrosse, baseball, and track athletes are out there today. You know, it's early in the season, so you know, from a lacrosse standpoint, they're spraining ankles, they're spraining their knees. From a baseball perspective, you know, it's a lot of muscle strains and overuse injuries. That's also the same for you know, a lot of the track athletes also.
You know you're getting older when you're running your vacuum around your treadmill and you actually trip over the cord with your vacuum cleaner and get a sports injury, but that's another story for a different day. Talk about what you do with physical therapy and help you get people back into the game.
Yeah, and that's the nice part is that, you know, Craig's team will see them on the field and then call us immediately, and we're able to collaborate with the doctors and the athletic trainers to really get them rehabbed, you know, whether it's 1 to 2 sessions before they get back on the field or if it's a little bit longer rehab after post-surgery with the physicians. We're really lucky to be able to kind of get them through their whole series of treatments. And this time of the year is fun because, like Craig said, we have so many sports going on right now, from shoulder injuries to knees and ankles, and so it keeps all of our PTs, and a lot of our PTs are dual credentialed, so they're athletic trainers, PTs, and so they can kind of see both ends of the sports like injuries.
You know what he was saying moments ago, it's so true. The calendar never really ends. It's 24/7, 365 days a year, and he mentioned some of the spring sports, but then of course you throw in baseball. They've got the great connection with the Riverhounds, that Montour facility. Of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates spring training baseball is underway. So we are in the midst of a whole lot of sports, but let's talk about spring sports and hydration and stretching and why all of that is important.
Sure. You know, right now, you know, it's a little ironic because it is a really hot or a hotter day, but usually it isn't that hot, and it doesn't mean that you still don't have to hydrate, and you have to make sure that you're getting water in all day long. It can't be just right before practice. You know, we say in my profession, if you're thirsty, it's too late.
All right, now I'm actually kind of directing traffic as people are leaving for the day here at Odyssey, so don't mind me with all the hand signals. It's okay, everybody can walk through. It's not going to bother us at all. Talk to me a little bit about people needing to just slowly get back into shape, because the weather's getting warmer. The average person who may want to lose some weight, start exercising again, saying, you know, it's a nice day, I'm going to go out and run 3 miles when they haven't run even a mile in the last 10 years. Talk about going slow, Lisa.
It is really important to go slow, and really we talk about a healthy lifestyle and ensuring that you're not overdoing it and not repetitively overdoing it. So if you're going to go out for that nice walk outside, maybe come home and do some yoga before or after. Hydrate, do the bicycle, make sure you're using your joints in not just a weight-bearing fashion, but de-weighted. Swimming's really good, so all ages should do that. And we talk about the kids and the school systems not just staying in one sport, we want them to cross-sport. So just like adults, we need to do the same thing. You can't just be an avid runner and run all day. You have to kind of balance that with the stretching and preventative work.
Listen, so about 1.5 years ago, I was visiting Dr. Mayo and his wife Anita at their home, and he said, you know, you need to lose some weight. And I did lose some weight. I've lost a whole lot of weight, and I feel better than I have felt in the last 20 years. You know, Dr. Piper, of course, is filming the video, continues to host this great show, so I have the privilege to be with him every week, and he's always asking me about my health and how are you, and we engage in conversation. So I'm fortunate to have that. But one thing people need to understand, Their personal trainer is important, but also that PCP, that family physician, you need to stay in constant contact and get regular physical checkups. Whether you're a senior like me or you're the adult who's taking care of your children with pediatrics, you have to make sure that they're having regular doctor visits.
Absolutely, and what we say in the world of sports medicine too is it takes a village. You have to have your regular visits with your physicians, and it's not just the athletes; it's active people and everybody around that. And it's a lot about educating yourself to be able to take better care of yourself and having a plan.
Let's talk about having a plan when it comes to nutrition, something I've completely rebooted my diet, and it's just so much better now with inflammation and gut issues and all the things that people have when they're not eating healthy. How does someone get on the right track? And of course, 412 doctors, you can make an appointment with the physicians at the Allegheny Health Network. We've got dietitians and clinicians and nutritionists. So talk about nutrition a little bit.
I think what's really nice is that in your primary care practice now, that's really become comprehensive. So your PCP will have a nutritionist, a behavioral psychologist, and really go over those things with you and kind of get you down the right track. Our dietitians are amazing. But again, listening to your body, making sure you're being an advocate for yourself and not being reactive, right? We want to be proactive. And that's one nice thing about the sports medicine and orthopedic and therapy is that we're also integrated in with every discipline, the neuro discipline, the primary care discipline, the oncology discipline. So we're really we are a community when it comes to healthcare. Talk
a little bit about nutrition.
So, nutrition as a whole, it's back to what I just said, is having a plan and being able to communicate with people. There are a lot of health coaches out there, and our insurance companies actually support many of those things. So, you can start as simple as having phone calls with those people just to get yourself on the right type of plan to have that weighted, so you're able to balance your meals out and really understand, what you are eating and when you need to eat it.
Let's talk about how the evolution of exercise has evolved. Since I was a young person, now student athlete, and now of course people basically going through all sorts of isometrics and stationary bikes, bands, all sorts of way to exercise. Talk about how it has evolved and how the Allegheny Health Network has the right idea and equipment waiting for you if you need it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's one really nice thing that we have at the Allegheny Health Network is that we're not only post-injury, right? We're preventative. So between the athletic trainers, the therapists, the sports performance team, we really look at the whole longevity of your healthcare. So you want to make sure that you're listening and activating every part of your body. So not just the heart, right, and the lungs. So you want to make sure you're getting your muscles stronger and not just becoming atrophied with your whole body, because the posterior chain, which is like your back muscles and your hamstrings, your glute medius and maximus, you really want to activate those to help you just stand and have good posture during the day. So that's really important.
It is important, and when I say student athletes, I'm talking about children in school who have a chance to go to gym class or physical education as they call it, and with all of these great schools, many of them you have partnerships with, they've got incredible facilities for that child, and if you're the parent, you should remind them it's nice to have a little bit of a sweat from time to time, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have 30 high schools across the state that we actually are working with in our region specifically, and it isn't just about the in-season sports, as Lisa mentioned. It's about being active all year long and be able to do those types of things, cross training, and be able to focus on really activating your body and preparing yourself so that you're not just you're active during in-season, but we want to educate them too. You're not always going to be a college athlete. You're at some point going to retire from your sport, but you still need to be active in life.
And when you start this stuff young, Lisa, it really does build a good future, does it not?
Yeah, mentally and physically. You know what I mean? Because when you're more active, your adrenaline's better and your community's better. It's bigger. So it's really nice to see in the healthcare model that when we have a student athlete come through the door, we also have their grandma, their grandpa, their mom, their dad, their siblings, and really be able to educate them all at the same time. Because as they're learning to rehab, they're growing their knowledge on how to continue out that process through their lives.
Before we let you go, again, coming up tonight, we're going to be discussing a lot of these topics on Medical Frontiers. You can tune in. Of course, if you don't have that Odyssey app, you should get it, and it's free, AUDACY, and download it on your smartphone. So if you're out pedaling your bike, taking a walk, we can go along with you. How has this business of sports medicine evolved in your lifetime, your professional lifetime, more importantly?
Well, it's something that I've focused on for my life, in the sense that it really is my job, but I still go home and watch games, right? And I still have, I have kids who play sports, so, for me, it's not just that, it's a passion all the way around.
I got to ask you about this cold plunge phenomenon before we go. You know what?
Not for me.
I have a difficult time taking a cold shower, but Is there any truth, you think, behind this whole inflammation thing and this craze of ice baths? Everyone seems to be cubing up, as I like to say.
They really are, but there's still a lot of data that's needs to be focused on out there, because as a whole, I can tell you too, we're really getting away from ice unless it's just for pain.
Really?
Yeah, so there, but we still gotta get some more studies out there and
All right,
focus on.
Lisa Lomanera, before we let you go, physical therapy, some of the things that you're doing that you think are so incredible that we need to talk about it before we get ready to go on the radio tonight.
Oh, like you said, over the years, our profession has just evolved, and we call our tool our bag of tricks, right? There's always something in there, and your hands and your mind are your most important thing in any healthcare profession to get someone better. But you have blood flow restriction now that we can do on adolescents all the way through adults for rehabbing their muscles and getting that blood flow in there. And then also the cryotherapy we just talked about a little
Right.
bit, that's part of it. And the stretching and scraping tools and all these fun modalities that you have. But when it comes down to it, it's really about knowledge and empowerment and really being able to teach a person how to stay healthy.
I have to ask you, because a lot of the stuff has been concerning, the opioid situation in America and what we're dealing with. And I've said many times, you have to do the deep dive, take a look at yourself, work in conjunction with your physician, because they really are there to help you. People with chronic pain, how can physical therapy help people with chronic pain, and maybe have them not have to take so many of the medicines to stay out of pain, but how actually physical therapy can get you out of that pain?
Yeah, it's a lot mental too, because when you're in that chronic pain, you are just mentally tired and fatigued, right? So you really need to change that. And one of the big things I always talk about with pain, and we talk about arthritis, right? And we're very visual as physical therapists. I either use food or another analogy, but it's kind of like Velcro. So the closer the Velcro is with arthritis, the more sedentary you are. So the more sedentary you are, the more the pain that happens. So the more active you become, you lubricate those joints, you pull the Velcro away, and then it really deconditions that pain. So mentally, you have to get people on board. You really have to kind of engage them. And again, it comes with communication.
All right, last thing, Mr. Ness, before I cut you loose here and we get ready to go on the radio again. Coming up, Dr. Pfeiffer, your host, been doing it for over 3 decades. Coming up after the local news at 7 with Paul Alexander on the second floor here at Odyssey's headquarters in Pittsburgh, Kdka 100.1 FM, AM 1020. I'm a little biased, but let's talk about Dr. Mayo and the staff in that sports medicine department, the Orthopedic Institute at AHN, which really, I believe, is the best in the business.
So I've been there for 28 years, and it's for a reason.
You put up with Mr. DeMayo for 28 years. I'm about 30, so I understand. He's all in, man. He's the best. Go ahead.
Absolutely. We're a family. We take care of ourselves, and just as Lisa was talking about with physical therapists, we collaborate as a whole, and that's what makes us drive and come to work every day, because it's a focus of why we want to not just take care of our athletes, but active people as a whole, and get them to be healthy as a whole, because it's a passion all the way around.
Listen, they are the team physician of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates get a spring training game today. A couple of RBIs for Henry Davis. That guy is going to be your full-time catcher, I believe, and should be. That's just my thought process. And they won today, and of course they're in action tomorrow against Toronto a little after 1. And that game will be heard on the station that invented baseball on the radio, Kdka 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and all season long, home and away, 93.7 The Fan. And I am a fan of this show, Medical Frontiers, Dr. Pfeiffer, and of course these two incredible guests. National Trainer Month. We're going to salute them, and we're going to give you a chance to call in and talk about some issues that you may be dealing with tonight on the show. In the meantime, don't forget to make an appointment with the physician guest and all of those great guests on Medical Frontiers, 412 Doctors, and for everything that is the Allegheny Health Network, go to ahn.org. Get your Pratt Pack. Good night on the radio in about 15 minutes. Tune in.